Timeline 913. Underground test range beneath Shiganshina district. No Titans, no Marines. Just a concrete pit, floodlights, and two men who should never share oxygen. The negotiation failed before it started. Levi Ackerman didn't offer terms. He offered a blade line, center mass, like he was signing a death certificate. Across from him, Roronoa Zoro didn't joke. He set his feet, one sword in hand. The other two stay sheathed, not out of mercy, but because the anomaly wrote the rules in blood. Sword only. No gear, no tricks, pure skill. Deathmatch. The air tastes wrong, like metal and ozone. The walls hum like a power station. Above them, carved into the concrete in letters that look burned in, Null Field Active. That's the first crack in canon. Because in this ring, the usual laws don't just bend, they get erased. No ODM, no gas, no thunder spears, no hockey bursts that split the sky. No anime momentum saving anyone at the last second. Just bodies, steel, timing, and pain tolerance.
The kind of fight men used to do before wars got clean screens and long-range buttons. Levi's eyes track everything. The stance, the grip, the shoulders. He sees Zoro's hands and doesn't like what he sees. Calluses like armor, wrists like cables. A swordsman who's swung steel thousands of times, not in practice, but in real killing. Zoro looks at Levi and doesn't smirk either. He sees something worse than strength. He sees economy. No wasted motion. A man built by a world that measures survival in seconds. Then the anomaly fully shows its teeth. The null field isn't just a rule. It's a physics cage. It compresses energy output. It kills supernatural systems on contact. Levi's body tries to reach for muscle memory that isn't there anymore, his whole style built around speed vectors and three-dimensional angles, and finds only flat ground. Zoro's body reaches for hockey like a reflex, and the field clamps it down like a vice. He exhales once, slow, like a diver testing lungs before depth. He still feels heavy, still feels strong, but he doesn't feel infinite anymore. And that's when both of them realize the same thing at the same time. This isn't a duel. It's a lab test. Freeze frame. Let's talk matchup, sober and ugly. Levi Ackerman, standing 5'3", weighing in at 140 pounds. Compact build. Insane acceleration when he has ODM gear. Without it, he is still elite. Reaction time is clocking in at 0.2 seconds. Footwork trained for close-range slaughter. A killing mindset that doesn't blink. His sword experience comes from anti-personnel work and Titan nape cuts. Those are fast entries and fast exits. He thrives on angles, not exchanges. Zoro, standing 5'11", 190 pounds of lean mass. Even inside a null field, he moves like someone whose baseline human never existed. He trains by hauling iron like it owes him money. His grip strength isn't a stat, it's a threat. His reach advantage sits around 8 to 10 inches, depending on blade length and arm extension. In real sword fighting, that reach changes everything. It forces the shorter fighter to spend energy just to enter range, and every entry is a coin flip, with death on one side. Now the unfair part. Even if we strip powers, Zoro's world-forged bodies that survive things Levi's world calls impossible. Zoro has eaten hits that would turn a normal spine into powder. The null field reduces output, but it doesn't rewrite bone density, tendon conditioning, or the ability to keep moving while bleeding. Levi's advantage is precision and brutality. Zoro's advantage is that his normal is still monstrous. Main weakness on both sides? Resources. Not ammo, not fuel. The only resource left is the one you can't reload. Oxygen, blood pressure, tendon integrity, grip stamina. In a sword-only deathmatch, the first mistake isn't a mistake. It's a permanent medical condition. Unfreeze.
Levi moves first, because he always moves first. Not a charge, a slide. He takes 2 small steps, testing distance. Zoro doesn't chase. He doesn't flinch. He lets Levi come, because reach is a trap you set, not a gift you waste. Levi flicks his blade forward, a probing cut aimed at Zoro's fingers. Not to kill, to measure. Zoro turns the edge, minimal motion, steel kissing steel with a clean, mean ring. No sparks, just a sound like teeth meeting. Levi's eyes narrow. He felt that block. It wasn't strong. It was controlled. Zoro didn't swat. He redirected. That's skill, not brawn. Then Zoro answers with one step and one cut that eats space. A straight line slash that doesn't look fast until you realize Levi already moved and still almost got opened. Levi snaps back, boots scraping concrete, and for half a second his heel catches dust. Shock and awe starts right there. Zoro advances like a pressure wave. He doesn't need to sprint. He just keeps the blade between them and makes Levi's world smaller. Each slash comes from a different line, high, mid, low, without wind-up. Zoro's shoulders stay quiet. The power comes from hips and timing. He's not throwing punches. He's throwing executions. Levi tries to circle. Zoro pivots with him. Levi darts in with a feint toward the ribs, then flips the angle to the thigh, hunting tendons. Zoro's blade drops, intercepts, and Levi's wrists jolt like he just hit a steel beam. Levi doesn't show pain, but his grip tightens. He can't afford another hard collision like that. Not repeatedly. Tendons don't care how brave you are. Zoro cuts again. Levi ducks. The slash shaves hair, not skin, but the air pressure still snaps Levi's bangs back. That's the gap. That's the message. Zoro doesn't need contact to make Levi respect the line. For the first time, Levi looks like a man fighting gravity. He backs off and breathes through his nose, slow, controlled. He stops trying to win and starts trying to solve. Because brute exchanges with this opponent will end with his arms numb and his neck open. So Levi adapts. He changes the geometry. He stops moving like a fencer and starts moving like a street killer. He drops his center of gravity, widens his base, and starts cutting at the environment. His boot scrapes grit into the air. His blade taps concrete, sending dust up. Not smoke bombs, just cheap particles, enough to break clean sightlines under harsh lights. Zoro's eyes track fine, but vision isn't the whole fight. Dust changes timing. It changes confidence. It forces a fraction of hesitation, and a fraction is all Levi needs. Levi rushes in low, blade tight to his forearm, and throws a cut at Zoro's lead knee. Not the kneecap, the side. Ligaments. Zoro shifts weight back at the last instant, and the blade kisses fabric, draws a thin red line, and slides off. Blood appears. Not much, but it's real. The god bleeds. Levi doesn't celebrate. He resets instantly. He understands blood is a resource, and he just forced Zoro to spend some.
Zoro's face doesn't change, but his next step hits heavier. He doesn't like being touched. Not because it hurts, because it teaches. Zoro swings a tighter arc now, less generous. Levi can't just dance anymore. He has to commit. He keeps cutting shallow, nicking, tagging, targeting wrists, biceps, thigh, everything that holds a sword steady. He avoids Zoro's blade like it's a guillotine, because it is. Zoro tries to end it with one committed strike, a kill cut. Levi reads the shoulder rotation and slips inside the arc, close enough to smell sweat. Levi's blade shoots toward Zoro's ribs. Zoro rotates his torso and takes it across the side, a slicing pain line. He answers with a pommel shove and a short slash that Levi barely avoids by folding backward like a hinge. The cut still takes Levi's sleeve. If that was skin, Levi loses an arm. Levi lands, breath sharp now. His lungs burn. Flat ground fighting costs more than ODM ever did. Every entry is leg power and core strain. Every exit is friction. Zoro rolls his shoulder, blood dark on his shirt. He's still coming. But his breathing isn't infinite either. The null field is doing its job. It's forcing a mortal pace onto an immortal work ethic. Resource starvation begins when the body starts bargaining. Levi's forearms shake, micro-tremors, not visible to casual eyes. They're visible to a man like him. His fingers feel hot. Grip fatigue creeps in like a slow infection. He has to finish this with a clean sequence, not a long war. Zoro's problem is different. His injuries stack. He doesn't fear pain, but pain changes mechanics. A shallow leg cut makes a stance slightly weaker. A rib slice makes breath slightly shorter. Over time, slightly becomes lethal. The dust settles. The lights buzz. Both men stand at mid-range now, neither willing to donate another clean opening. Levi changes the plan one more time. He stops attacking Zoro's body. He attacks Zoro's sword. He snaps forward with a strike aimed at the guard, not the flesh. A hard hit at the base of the blade, trying to jar the weapon, stress the wrist, force a drop. Zoro meets it. Steel hits steel. The impact echoes. Levi's hand goes numb. Levi's jaw tightens. That was a gamble. It cost him nerve shock. But it also gave him data. Zoro's grip is insane, yes. But Zoro commits to blocks because he respects Levi's line. That means Levi can bait blocks. And baited blocks can turn into traps. Levi feints high, draws the block, then slides low and rips a cut across Zoro's forearm. Deep. Not a nick, a real bite. Zoro's fingers flex. Blood runs down to the hilt. Grip integrity drops. Not a lot. Enough. Zoro's eyes harden. He stops playing range control and steps into Levi's space like a door slamming shut. He throws a short, violent cut meant to split collarbone. Levi slips, but the blade grazes his shoulder and opens a fast, hot wound. Levi's left arm loses strength instantly. That's the cost. That's the tax. One graze can end a career. Now both of them are compromised. Now it's honest. They collide at close range, blades so near they scrape. Levi tries to hook Zoro's blade aside and go for the neck. Zoro powers through and shoulder checks Levi, sending him skidding on concrete. Levi catches himself on one hand, pops up, and his breath stutters. Zoro's steps sound heavier now. He's not sprinting. He's marching. Levi's left shoulder leaks. His sword hand stays right, but he can't take another body hit. Zoro's forearm bleeds and his grip is slick. He can't afford a prolonged bind. If Levi gets into grappling distance, the blade could twist out. If Zoro loses his sword, skill turns into raw violence, and the null field doesn't care how famous you are. Levi makes the last move first, because waiting equals dying. He charges in, not at Zoro's center, but past it. He throws his body offline, like a knife fighter slipping a punch. Zoro swings to intercept, and Levi drops under the arc, so low his knee kisses concrete. Levi's blade flashes upward in a tight, rising cut. It's not aimed at the heart, it's aimed at the inside of the elbow. A tendon shot. Zoro's arms spasms. His hand opens for a fraction of a second. The sword dips. That fraction is the entire universe. Levi steps in and drives his blade into Zoro's throat line, just under the jaw, the way you kill fast and keep the blood off your own boots. Zoro's body freezes. Not dramatics, just the sudden mechanical failure of breath. His eyes stay open. His hand claws for air that won't come. He tries to swing with the other arm, but the null field punishes desperation. His muscles obey biology, not willpower. Levi holds the blade in place for one heartbeat, then rips it free and steps back because you never stand close to a dying man with a sword.
Zoro drops to one knee, then both. Blood pools dark, thick, real. He tries to speak, but only a wet gurgle escapes. The swordsman who has faced monsters, warlords, and gods dies on a concrete floor in a city that doesn't even know what a pirate is. Levi stands there, chest heaving, one arm hanging half dead, and watches the body stop moving. Then Levi's legs buckle. Not from emotion, from math. He took a shoulder cut that chewed muscle. He lost too much blood. His world trained him to keep moving until the mission ends, and the mission just ended. So the body finally cashes the bill. He drops to one knee, presses his palm to the wound, and breathes through his teeth. The null field hum shifts, like a machine satisfied. The anomaly chooses its ending. A vertical seam of light opens behind Levi, thin as a paper cut, bright as a welding torch. The exit. No explanation, no reward. Just extraction. Levi looks at Zoro one last time. Not with respect, not with hatred, but with that cold soldier's recognition. This was a weapon, and the world just wasted it. He steps into the seam and vanishes. Cannon doesn't heal. It just reroutes the damage. Back in Levi's timeline, he returns to Shiganshina with a wound that never quite closes right. His left shoulder stays weak. His range of motion drops. He can still fight, but he can't fight like before. That changes battles. That changes survival odds. In the next major engagement, he misses one critical swing. One Titan doesn't die fast enough. One squad doesn't make it out. Names vanish from history. Not in heroic last stands, but in the kind of quick, ugly death nobody writes songs about. In Zoro's timeline, the break is worse. The Straw Hats don't lose a swordsman. They lose their wall. In the next confrontation that requires a blade to hold the line, one moment where Zoro normally stalls the unstoppable, there is no stall. The enemy pushes through. Luffy takes a hit meant for someone else. The crew fractures. The Grand Line doesn't care about friendship. It cares about force, and force just got removed from the equation. Now, let's return to the studio and analyze the facts. Combatants, 2. Survivors, 1. Technically, but degraded. Total fight time, roughly 3 to 6 minutes of real exchange, but only 20 to 40 seconds of actual blade contact. That is normal. Real fights aren't constant clashing.
They are long measurement, short violence. Casualties. Zoro. Fatal neck wound, rapid blood loss. Levi. Non-fatal shoulder laceration, probable partial muscle sever, long-term impairment. Economic cost. 0 currency, 0 ammo, 0 fuel. Biological cost. Massive. Blood loss likely over 2 liters combined, plus tendon and muscle damage that permanently reduces output. Key factor of victory wasn't strength. It wasn't even speed. It was ruthlessness plus targeting.
Levi didn't try to beat Zoro's sword. He beat Zoro's ability to hold a sword. Tendons, joints, throat. That's not romantic. That's professional. Long-term dark future? Both worlds destabilize. In the Titan world, Levi survives but loses peak capability. And peak capability is the only thing that ever kept humanity's margins from collapsing. In the pirate world, Zoro's absence creates a vacuum that violence fills immediately. The timeline doesn't explode, it just gets meaner. Fewer heroes, more funerals, more victories that taste like ash. Our experiment is complete, but the anomaly is pulsing again. It is time to choose the next battlefield. Option A. Mikasa Ackerman dropped into the One Piece world. No devil fruits, no hockey, just blades. Can she survive the Grand Line's first month? Option B. Dracule Mihawk enters Attack on Titan at the height of the war. One man, one sword, and the rumbling on the horizon. Vote with letter A or B in the comments. Like and subscribe to keep the timeline from collapsing. The fate of these worlds is in your hands.